All right, Bang. Today is Monday. It is December 20th. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. We got a snake draft, and it's our last snake draft of the year. We will have a best of next week. Not sure which one, but we'll have something. Two guests today because our friend White Sox Dave is out. So Kenjac, you're here, and then Clem, you're here. Clem, you're gonna have to apologize to your wife that her favorite character is off the show today.
So thank you for bringing that up, and this makes this significantly less awkward. She goes to me, she goes, I need you to tell them that Dave is not my favorite. Because obviously the last episode she listened to, she said, Dave's not my favorite. I just feel bad when he gets picked on, and I root for him because everyone's so mean to him, but he's not my favorite. She really doesn't have a favorite. She did admit she usually thinks Carl is like, more, that's usually who she ends up going with in terms of the graphic and stuff like that. But Dave is definitely not her favorite. I don't know if she has a favorite. She's not telling me.
Very diplomatic of her.
Well, it's nice. Thank you, Mrs. Clem.
He gets a lot of shit, but he likes to argue. We talked about it last week on Redline Radio that Dave's just like an all-time argue guy. Like if you like wake up in the morning, you're like, man, I want to relax. Like you could just sit on the couch. If you wake up, you're like, I want to argue. White Sox Dave should just knock on your door, and he should be like the default argue guy. So
he's like addicted to dying on hills. Like he's like the George Custer of like non secular arguments.
He really is. He really is. That's a great way to put it. He's addicted to dying on hills.
Yeah.
That iPod performance was one, like not even the podcast, but then the Twitter performance where he was literally like sewering himself to KFC, who is a king of debating. And it's like, dude, stop it. Like, I love you, Dave, but just stop it. I don't want to get myself on the ban list, so I'm going to stop there. But
I mean, Sons of Uribe was divided on that. But it was just like, how can you, like, KFC didn't need to do anything. It was like Dave was like, oh, yeah? And then he would say something that was against his own point. It was like, wait, Dave, just stop. Just stop while you're behind.
The exact words were, what's the difference in a video game? You play video games. The iPod you play music on.
Right.
That was why it was a distinction. That was the critical distinction.
And it was like video games was like we talked about it beforehand. It was a caveat, like you got one, so it was
full system.
It was established, but that's the beauty of White Sox, Dave.
I like how we're picking on him in absentia. Like this is what he gets for not showing up. Picked up more.
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys. I don't mean to like extend the last episode or anything, but I don't think this was brought up. Did anyone here actively search for toys and Christmas gifts? Once you realized Santa was fake and look for them, and did you ever find your parents' stash at before Christmas?
I like the joy of opening it on the day. I never wrestled around and tried to look for something early.
Yeah, I never did either. My sister was, I would say, very late to realizing that Santa was not real, like maybe like 12. I think was like very like, what's wrong with you? And I have a brother who's obviously much younger, so like we kept the Santa narrative going for him because he was like 5, but it's like you're 11, 12, like you should know. And then she like busted into my parents' like room where they were like hiding and keeping all the toys and doing the wrapping, while my mom was out doing more shopping, and she like ran outside while my dad was shoveling snow. And was like, what? Like Santa's not real? And then he was like, fuck, I'm in trouble. Like he like slammed the shovel down, like blew the secret, even though it's like your daughter is like almost gonna get her driver's license soon, and she still believes in Santa. But that other than that, no, I don't think I really went going for it. Like any looking around the attic or anything. Was that you, Clem?
I think I snooped around once. Not really. I think I was like just probably looking for something else. You're just a kid wandering, like you're basically a dog at that point, right, in your life. And I stumbled upon like a treasure trove, and I was like, oh fuck. And it's the worst feeling in the world. It's just really bad. It was not good. So it was kind of like a trauma thing. As I'm going through it now, I remember it was a big Toys R Us bag, and you're like, maybe it's just gifts my parents got me. And then you open them on Christmas. You're like, yep, never want to do that. And I think I might've stumbled upon it twice once. And so, yeah, no bueno. Anyone who lived through that, man, it's the worst.
I started doing it because one Christmas, the only thing I asked for was Ghost Recon 2. And we had a PlayStation 2, and my mom got it, and she got it for the Xbox. So I opened it up on Christmas Day, and it's just I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? She's like, oh, Santa fucked up. Let me go talk to him. And she left. went to Toys R Us, returned it, got the PS2 version, and came back. She's like, yeah, Santa just got me this one. I'm like, I gotta check this shit out from now on. I'm gonna make sure everything is 2 specifications on the list.
That's good. Yeah, that was
shout out Mama Jack.
Yeah, that's some heart right there going out on Christmas too.
Yeah,
that's nice. Anything with you?
Yeah, no. There was the year you developed the suspicions after Christmas, and then going into my 2nd grade Christmas was when I was on the mission to figure out like this is false. I know this is false. Now I want proof, and I found a Game Gear game underneath my parents' bed that my brother got, and I had the same reaction Clem did that Christmas morning, where you're just like devastated, like holy fuck, he's got the baseball game. But then here's the positive though. We were going through our sacraments, and before you make First Holy Communion, you have to do reconciliation. And we had reconciliation like the 2nd week of January, I remember, in Catholic school. I was snooping around. I found my presents. I feel awful about myself. It was like the easiest cop-out for reconciliation. Because that's a tough time. Yeah, as an 7, 8-year-old, you're like, what do I feel so guilty about?
Do you think it's easier or harder now to believe in Santa as a kid? Because like I remember it was just like my grandmother would tell stories and things like that. Now they have like you can track Santa with NORAD. Like
Elf on a Shelf stuff where people, like they really drag it out.
We didn't have that.
We didn't either.
Yeah, I feel like Elf on the Shelf is kind of like a newer trick.
What was he saying? He's like now.
Yeah, but like with like the NORAD stuff and the technology, or do you think you could just get on your iPad as a kid and be like, yeah, Santa's not real? Like I don't know. The balance.
I'm in the fucking trenches right now. So I have a 7 and a 3-year-old, and my 3-year-old AJ is going to be like Santa is going to be like your sister, Chief. She's going to believe until like AJ tells her. He's like, you fucking moron, of course, and he's going to be like 4 when he tells her because he's just smart like that. But it, like you said, the technology. Like they're not like all their technology is very like child proof, so they can't really get anywhere unless you have an asshole on the bus, right?
Yeah.
But unless some like dickhead who again probably has like his own phone, unless they spoil it for you, you can just keep poisoning their minds with fake fucking. It's crazy how much like we tell them it's real. You have to believe, and you have all the songs even tell you, the movies, all that shit, and then it's all just one big lie. It's incredible, but yeah, trust me, and I'm not looking forward to this. I didn't realize 7 is when people start figuring it out, Carl. So now I'm like my little girl here again because of my little boy. Like, enjoy the times when you have them. It's so awesome.
Can you explain an adult lie to me really quick? And it's just that I thought until I was like a full grown adult, like in my late teens, that turning on the console light while driving was illegal. And
we should have a draft about that.
I thought that was just a bona fide legal fact. So why is that thing? Just because that's annoying for parents to drive with the console light on?
White lies would be an awesome draft topic. I like that.
Yeah.
And I, as someone that just told my daughter last week, because we said like the cops will pull us over, you can't do that. It's annoying. It's hard to see. And the other day she had to do it for something, and it was something to help me out, like get her seatbelt on, stay safe and not die. It was like, all right, you could keep it on for like 5 minutes. Don't worry about it. And then she was like reading a book or something. So yeah, it's 100% just because it's annoying. And everything that your parents told you that were lies is just to make their lives easier. This is something going way off topic here. Like the pool thing, like 5 minutes to digest. It's just because you have to clean up like their lunch, and you can't have that clean up their lunch as they're swimming in the pool at as a 2nd grader, because then they die because you're cleaning up the lunch. So you have to say 5 minutes. Everyone has to digest just so you can clean up and then move to the pool. So there's shit that I'm realizing as a parent that I hated as a kid. I'm like, oh, that's why they lied to me this entire time. And again, Christmas, the entire reason for the lie is so if they misbehave, they're on the naughty list. So you get at least like a month of weaponizing Santa and the big lie of Christmas.
Here's another parenting question for you, Clem. Don't you want the credit of giving the gifts? I've always been, I don't have kids, but it's like one of those things where I'm like, hey, like, that's not Santa. Like, you're overjoyed being like, oh my God, look what Santa brought. Like, no, I worked. I bought you that shit. I went out to Best Buy or wherever it was. I got you that.
Yep, 100%. And this is something I don't remember what it was like as a kid. I feel like Santa got a lot of shit from me when I was a kid, quote unquote Santa. Our thing now, Santa gets like one big gift, maybe the big gift, or number 2 on the list, and maybe like 1 or 2 others, and the rest is straight mom and dad. And Santa leaves a bill, because the biggest thing on December 26th, mommy, I want this, I want that. Nope. Well, Santa just gave it to us. No. Santa left a bill for that shit plus all the stuff we got you. So you give Santa no more than like 3 gifts any single Christmas. The big fucking guy doesn't get that much. He gets enough love. They fucking sing his fucking praises.
That's what I'm talking about.
We're just the schleps that have to wake him up, drive him to school, get him dressed, pay for their lives, and we get nothing from it. So yeah, the big man. That's a great question, Chief.
Clem, you should be in the Coca-Cola commercials. That's what I got from this. Not him. You should
Listen
be
to Podfathers next week. We'll get into it more in depth there.
Yeah, honestly, listen to Podfathers. That's like, I don't even have kids, and I still feel like I love that show because there's just random shit like that that's amusing. So go check that out. But on that note, congrats to me for winning the toys draft. I was stunned. I thought N64 was just insurmountable to beat. So
Game Boy in the 5th round was a good pick.
yeah,
What do you think really won it for you?
I think my first two, Wiffle Ball and Super Soaker.
Those
I
are-
think
those
that
are
was
good.
just while everyone else like rushed to get their system. Like I think I grabbed the two of the best toys, especially with Dave getting fucking BB guns. So
Yeah.
I was, that's what I think did it. There's rumblings, guys, too, that I'm the king of Christmas. I won the movies draft last year. I won the Christmas shit draft
Wasn't
year.
last year's draft very controversial?
No,
with
it was
Fran?
controversial because Fran got left
Fran,
off.
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So you could have your music chief. You could sit there and sing carols all you want. But a lot of people saying I'm the king of Christmas.
I like Christmas music.
Carl,
Does that make you nervous going into today's draft?
a little bit because now I feel like I said that.
I would have
now the
left that
audience is
line
gonna,
off. Yeah.
The audience is gonna conspire against me. But
Was that the birth of the word we do not speak of, the color Ed? Is that, I think that was around the time the controversy.
It could
of Fran,
be.
I believe it's-
And honestly, could be. We need a dog walk draft
I
historian.
thought that came about on Sirius.
It did, but I think like it really kind of
Cemented.
took its own
Yeah, no,
life.
for sure.
Fever
Yeah.
pitch.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. All right, then. Today, obviously, if you read the description, it is side characters in Christmas movies, so it should be fun. Let's do the order. You, Kenjac, our producer Harry has number 1 through 5 behind his back. What number is it?
I think it is 4.
No.
Carl.
2.
No.
3.
Yep.
I'll take the first overall pick.
All right. 1 through 4, Clem.
I almost said 5. Fuck, I'm an idiot. 2.
Yes.
Oh.
Boom. All right, we'll go. This is tough. We'll go pick 3.
Okay, 1 through 3. Me, I'm going to go with 3.
No.
Kenjac.
Let's do 4.
Ooh. 1 through 3, Kenjac.
That's tough.
Sorry.
That's tough.
Sorry.
Well,
Yeah, you're
no. It passes.
Yeah.
It goes to
Lost it.
Carl.
I think it passes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Carl.
1.
Honor.
Yes.
All right. What's available?
2, 4, 5.
2.
1 or 2. To me, 1.
No.
All right. You want 4th or 5th, Kenjac?
Fuck it. Let's do 5th.
All right. Chief Carl, Clem, Eddie, Kenjac. That's the order, 1 through 5. Before we get underway, though, I do want to talk about Upstart. Obviously, it is the holiday season. If you're someone who has found themselves under some debt, maybe you bought too many Christmas presents, right? Like Clem, like that. I'm sure that happens to people out there. So make sure you check into Upstart, okay? That's the way that will help you not dread looking at your credit card statements. It's the fastest and easiest way to pay off your debt with a personal loan. That's all done online. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high-interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 1 million people have used Upstart to get one fixed monthly payment with a clear payoff date. Rather than looking at credit score alone, Upstart considers other factors like your income, current employment, and credit history to find you a smarter rate for your loan. You can check your rate without impacting your credit score in minutes for loans between $1,000 to $50,000. You can even receive funds as fast as 1 business day after accepting your loan. So find out how Upstart can help lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/Eddie. That's upstart.com/Eddie, EDDIE. Don't forget to use that URL, please. It lets them know that you came from this show, and that really helps us out. Loan amounts, once again, will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Upstart.com/Eddie. Go start being smarter about your debt today. Okay. Number one.
As a grown up, I'm gonna say debt will fuck you, and I'm usually the guy on Podfathers between Fancy Boy Large and chaps living big down in Texas. I'm usually the guy that is like, Clem, is everything all right? Like, can you get the kids gonna have a Merry Christmas kind of a thing? So yeah, I can confirm debt is no bueno, and make sure that you let him know Eddie said it.
Beautiful. There we go. Thank you, Clem. All right, Chief. Number one overall. Who we got?
Well, I want to go number one overall because preparing for this draft made me realize that I haven't seen a ton of these top movies, and I don't have the ones I have seen, and maybe it's been a while. So I'm just going to go with Old Faithful here. I'll take Marv. I had to look up his last name, Merchants, from Home Alone. I think of the two, I think he is like the funnier one. And he is, you could call him a villain, but he's like a lovable villain. He's just there for like the slapstick, like physical comedy, and he crushes it. He's hilarious. So I'll go with Marv.
Marv was my 1-1. It's funny, Kenjac and I had a conversation before, and he was like, hey, maybe they should be taken as a package. I agree that it should be 1 and 1 because it'll really get the debate going to see who people like more.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking about trying to sneak in getting both there.
Yeah.
But I just didn't have the energy for the argument.
The guy who loves
Too bad
dying
Dave's
on
not
hills.
here.
Yeah, if Dave was here, maybe, but
I agree. I think Marv is better. Marv has better one-liners.
Mm-hmm.
He's just the aloof idiot.
yeah.
And he's very funny. Wow, what a whole fucking
Even just like the Wet Bandit, Sticky Bandit, like he has to come up with a name, like all these different things that he's doing. He's a great character.
Yep. Clem, you got anything on Marv?
I think who your favorite Wet Bandit is says a lot about you, and I think the panel here, I think most of the people who work for Barstool, they identify maybe with the slapstick behavior of Marv a little more. A+ performance in Rookie of the Year, which is same kind of vibe, right? Daniel Stern, right?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
actor. He's the voice of Wonder Year. I fucking love that guy. He's great. Being on the panel with the King of Christmas and Kenjac, the king of movies here, and now we got fucking Marv off the board. I feel like I'm already like behind the 8 ball here.
There's a really good episode of the show, The Movies That Made Us on Home Alone, where they talk about the whole process of making it, where they filmed it all in like a fucking high school gym. It's crazy. And they almost didn't cast Stern as Marv. They almost cast Daniel Roebuck, who's just like, it's an actor, is like a face Like the only thing I can name that he's in is in U.S. Marshals and it's Fugitive. He's like one of those like random FBI agents that works with Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh yeah. Oh shit.
Is he a bad guy? And
Say his name again for me.
Daniel Roebuck.
Roebuck. Oh damn. Well, good thing fucking old Marv, old Daniel Stern got that.
They did like screen test of chemistry between him and Pesci, and they just did not get along at all, which makes sense.
Yeah. We've said that before too. Daniel Stern needs to make a comeback. I don't know what he's up to, but I feel like he's not in anything.
Yeah, why
Celtic
is it?
Pride, Bushwhack, those are some classics.
Yeah. Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year
Like
was
does
you
need to
heat up the ice.
I love the pick. Does anybody not like the pick at 101 overall?
No, I think you have to pick one of the Wet Bandits, I think, with the first pick, right?
Agreed.
Because they are
see.
the most iconic side characters.
Agreed. Well,
It was to the point where going into this, you said side characters, and I wasn't sure if they're so important to the movie. I was like, is that like, can you even draft the Wet Bandits? And he said antagonists are as well. So I was basically like, so Kevin McCallister can't. I didn't want to say the Wet Bandits, not that they were going to go in the first round, right?
Yeah.
I was like, Kevin McCallister can't be drafted, but everyone else can. You're like, yeah. I was like, all right, cool. So they are that important to the movie.
Yeah.
and I just felt like we got to a point where we weren't going to do antagonists, but then it's like we're leaving out so many great characters that we could shoot the shit out.
You need them. Yeah.
So can you explain who's not eligible then for everybody?
Basically,
following?
like, all right, you can't take McClane's out, Kevin McCallister's out, Buddy the Elf's out, you name it. George Bailey. You know who.
No main protagonist, basically.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So on that note, you were humming. I wonder if you're gonna zig or zag on us here, Carl. Who do you got for?
So
number two?
I think Wet Bandits are clearly a first round pick. Marvin Harry are clearly first round. The only hesitancy I would have, I'm not saying it's a bad pick at all. The only hesitancy I have is you're splitting the Wet Bandit vote.
But yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only, from like a technical drafting strategy, you're going to split some vote here, which is why confidently second overall, I'm going to take a guy who fucking stands alone. taking Cousin Eddie.
Yeah.
So
That was number 3 on my board.
and he doesn't show up till they do such a good job introducing him because they like bring you along like the Clark Griswold experience. And it's very authentic, and it's just so heartwarming and funny. And then the fact when Eddie shows up, the movie just takes a completely different turn. And
He's a great character.
Yeah, he's a legend for a reason. Randy Quaid, I'm sure Kenjac, you've got a appreciation for his work.
Oh yeah.
So Cousin
The
Eddie,
all-time great Hollywood psychos.
Yeah. He's nuts, dude.
White Sox Dave loves him.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Loves that character. Loves his, like quotes him all the time.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I thought it was a pretty clear top 3, and he was in it. So I think it's a good pick. You did kind of zag a little bit, but I understand why you did. Cousin Eddie, and you're getting great value because as much as, we're taking him for Christmas vacation, you still remember all his other performances too. So it's like a long-standing character. I like the pick.
Thank you.
I like the pick a lot, and it got to the point is after I said 3, I realized I really fucked myself here because I should have went 2, and then if I wasn't going to go 2, I should have went 4, and instead I went the fucking. I am in my own head right now, just putting it out there right now. I am swimming just like Eddie was in the fucking pool in the backyard. So I am in no bueno. Mele Kaliki Maka, motherfuckers. God damn it.
But I'm confused. I mean, you're still in a great position to get, unless if you're going to go somewhere else with it.
Well, I think I might zag now, and that's why I don't want to be swimming. I wish I had just completely. You know what? Fuck it. Let's just go, Harry. Just fucking go.
Fuck, I was hoping you overthought it. I would have taken Harry gladly.
Yeah.
I feel like you pushed him back towards Harry, Ed. You should have just let him continue to drown in the deep end there.
That's
He's Pesci,
smart.
and I have to sell people listening to the episode so they vote for me. He's fucking Pesci, the fucking gold tooth, iconic look, plays the cop role great, plays the robber role even better in 2 movies. 2 movies. Cousin Eddie's only technically in 1 Christmas movie. This guy's in 2 movies, and he's kind of a badass motherfucker. So, Harry.
It's a good pick. I mean, it's what's kind of funny is so I think I've mentioned this to you guys before, but like my grandpa was in Goodfellas, and he fucking hated Joe Pesci. He loved everyone else, and everyone else got along with him. He still like hangs out, or not hangs out, but he's like he stays in contact with a lot of that cast. He said Joe Pesci was such a fucking prick that everybody just hated his guts. But he's such good at it's such a good role, you know what I mean, for him in every Italian mobster movie. They just played who he is. That just worked. But he's the one guy that he hated. And apparently he didn't get along with anyone on the set in Home Alone either, because he refused to shoot like before, I think like 11 a.m. or something like that, because he had to make his like 7:30 tea time every single day and like refused to play.
That's how you know you've made it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just funny. But hey, hell, I mean, he fucking made a great movie, so who cares?
He's like, he was a real motherfucker. That again, anyone who hasn't seen the movies that made us or the toys that made us, another great Netflix series. Like, you can watch all that stuff. It's nostalgia central. If you're listening to Dog Walk, you would probably love everything there. Breaks down a bunch of movies of different toys that we grew up with. But I think they say like Pesci was on an absolute heater. I just pulled up his IMDb, and right before Home Alone, Goodfellas. Goodfellas was the movie before Home Alone. The Super, then JFK, My Cousin Vinny, Lethal Weapon 3. He had a Lethal Weapon 2 the year before. So he's just, at this point, he's just like, I'm doing a fucking Christmas movie. I'm going to go play golf or I'm Joe fucking Pesci, right?
Joe Pesci has a Christmas album from the perspective of Vincent LaGuardia Gambini. So it's like
what?
I don't know what the name of the I don't know.
I don't even know what that means.
So the character from My Cousin Vinny,
so funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
he wrote an entire Christmas album, performed it with like the type of band that would be backing like a small time like Italian frontman.
Okay.
And it's fucking Joe Pesci as Vincent. I don't even know how to say the name. Gambini, whatever.
Gambini, yeah.
And it's like 20 fucking tracks.
That's unbelievable.
Swear to God.
If it doesn't snow on Christmas, that's the name of the album. I had no idea this was a fucking thing.
Clem, you're gonna love that album.
Another person on the Christmas, the quote unquote Christmas character who has an album is Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis has like legit albums of music that he's performed, and they're amazing. Like, not good, but amazing to listen to.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of like a country rock, not country rock. It's like very smooth rock, I would say. Wow, it's very interesting.
Bruce Willis would be great to see live.
Fucking Bruce Willis and Pesci, dude. And another thing about Harry too, like obviously we just said how much we love Marv. Harry had a lot going for him as well. Obviously, number one, like the hat, people still look at that,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, that's a Joe Pesci hat." Like if it's little and tiny and the way it like folds up. Iconic character. I always liked the way he just like Richard, like the way he just like muttered to himself.
Yeah.
As he was getting his ass beat. He's great too.
Yeah, Marv's better
great.
at getting injured.
Yes.
Yeah.
In both the films, but Harry really was like what makes you laugh when like it's really not that funny, but you just still find yourself giggling but a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's Joe Pesci doing this
Yeah. I think they're pretty
ridiculous character.
I think they're pretty even, but it's just like Harry comes off as a little bit of a dick. So you go with Marv. Like Marv is just there's like zero negatives to Marv, where Pesci comes off a little bit of it. Like, and that's like the role of that character, but it just makes you love Marv like just a hair more.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have like a different dynamic as far as like you need a straight man to go against the funny.
Exactly.
You know what's kind of funny is that mumbling thing you're talking about. Like apparently it's just because Pesci would curse like a sailor, and like that was his version of cursing for the thing. They're like, yeah, just grumble a lot, make it sound like a curse.
That's great.
That's unbelievable.
It's funny you say that too about Pesci, because the one time he shows like any real he's vulnerable is when he wakes up and he sees Marv about to hit him with the he's like, Marv, what are you doing? And then he hits him with the crowbar because the spider's on him. It's such a change from his character, and it is something that just like resonates with me, makes me laugh. So yeah, Pesci's he's so good, man. He's so good at what he does.
He's great. So good pick. There's 1, 2, 3. That's what I expected in some type of order. Marv, Cousin Eddie, Harry. It's to me, I don't know. This is where it goes all over the place. I'm just gonna take someone who I couldn't live with if I didn't have him, and it's Gus Polinski.
Ah, damn it! All 4 of my top 4.
Oh,
right
you had? Oh,
board.
okay. I'm very glad I took him then. If he wasn't gonna get back to me, I thought there was a chance, but yeah, Gus Polinski. Obviously, I talked about him. I was him for Halloween one year, and he's just like an unforgettable character who really doesn't have much screen time at all. So, yeah, Gus Polinski.
He was. I only have 6. I had 6 guys in the that I would take in the first round, or that I have first round grades on, and he was my like sneaky
One of them.
Would have loved to get him in the second round.
My thought was if I could get after Eddie, but Eddie has to take one of the first 3 that we had just taken, I could get Polinski on the wraparound potentially. Apparently that's not the case. Everyone had him pretty high. But I know you dressed up as him for Halloween. Obviously we listened to the Halloween draft. So I was like, fuck, like anyone who appreciates Polinski, and I mean, John Candy, the motherfucking man. So great pick. I didn't think of that early. And shout out to my boy, Unruh. He's been the Kenosha Kickers in our fantasy league since day one. It's been like a 10-year name, and it's just an all-time great. Positive vibes.
And yeah, he like I said, he doesn't have like a ton of screen time, but he like has an impactful screen. Like he's so many quotes, big in Sheboygan. You know,
how many copies did they sell?
Left them at a. I'm blanking out.
I think it was 623.
Funeral home.
620. Yeah, left him at the funeral parlor. He's okay.
And that's like an all-time like awful dad move to do. And you just brush it off like, it's just Gus, right? Like the fact that you can like still look at him as like a good person, even though he does that, that's just how like fucking pure his soul is, right?
Yeah, exactly. He didn't mean anything wrong. He was just focused on other shit.
I think, and if I don't know if I'm misquoting, Clem, you might be able to remember, but also in the movies that made us, I think they said like he essentially is just really good friends with John Hughes, who wrote the movie, and like he just showed up to do that one scene. I think he was only there for like under the amount of hours required to get a salary or something, so he got paid like I think like $200 for all the time he was on set and all the scenes in the movie. It's crazy.
I think that's right. Again, that fucking movies that made us is must watch. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't stopped this podcast and watch it, you're an asshole. You're a bad person. You're a coal in your stocking.
Damn, I gotta watch it then. And I know he must do that a lot because he did that for Cool Runnings too. Like he like took a huge pay cut and shit. So I think he just like he knew a good story and he wanted to be involved. So credit to John Candy. All right, I'm glad I got him there if he was going to get back to me. So, Kenjac, you're up.
Okay. Literally my 1 through 4 off the board, which sucks, but I'm comfortable with what I have at number 5. And I'm going to do Thurman Merman from Bad Santa.
Yep.
Thurman Merman, all-time name, hilarious kid character. And like in any movie where you include a child can fucking derail a movie so fast. And that kid was so funny. He was like the perfect like doofus moron kid, and he had that perfect like little chubby complexion that just like made him like lovable and hysterical. And his interactions with Billy Bob Thornton and that, who was just like nails versus like butter, is just like so funny to me. And I think I fucking love them. I love their interaction, and I obviously can't pick actual Billy Bob Thornton because it's side characters, and I just got to go Thurman Merman because he was just so good. And he ate up those screen time, no pun intended.
Yeah, he was definitely considered on the way back if you didn't take him. So I think it's a great pick.
I had a first round grade on him.
Yeah, did you? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. It seems like everyone's kind of in the same place. So
well, I think he's just all his screen time is his ratio of screen time to laughs out loud is as high as anybody on this list. Like anytime he brings up the sandwiches, like his relationship with Billy Bob Thornton to me makes the Billy Bob Thornton character just that much better.
Yeah, you're right.
We had. Before we went up, we said, who's going to be the horny person replacing White Sox Dave? And Kenjac's like, I'll wear it. And I had in my book, minus 1,000 on the Barstool Sports book, that Dave was going to take Thurman Merman. So it's perfect that the guy in his seat took him. Because he's talked about him on this podcast, and he like waxes poetic about the name Thurman Merman. I love hearing White Sox Dave say the name Thurman Merman. I don't know what it is, but it's just so fucking funny. So perfect pick. I had first, second round grade on him myself.
I love that part where he's just like, your name's Thurman Merman, and it's just so funny. I love that movie so much. It's a special place in my heart.
That's interesting you say that too, Clem, because he zagged in the movie draft last year. He had 2 overall, and everyone figured, Home Alone 2, and he took Bad Santa 2 overall. If people remember.
Yep.
So I would have loved to see him in a spot where he had to choose between Cousin Eddie and Thurman Merman, because that would have been an ultimate cage match for him. So Thurman Merman's great. I love the pick. You're up again.
This is actually a significantly harder pick because I just don't know where. Like, I feel like I could easily predict what the first round was going to be. Second round is really hard, so like I don't know what's going to get back to me by the time I get to round 3, which makes this a little bit more difficult.
Falls off a cliff.
Yeah. I'm very tempted to take one of 2 different bullies, and I just don't know which one I want. I think I'll pick Buzz McCallister because I think that the line of "Buzz your girlfriend woof" is arguably the funniest thing in Home Alone. It is so fucking funny. Like, he literally is. It's like this fucking movie in the 90s. He calls this poor girl a dog, like in the middle of it. It's so fucking funny, and I just think Buzz's actual interactions with Kevin are just hilarious because he's the perfect face, perfect teeth, perfect hair, perfect everything for a bully. He's basically like the fucking Back to the Future guy just as a kid. Like he's the absolute picture perfect bully. And I think that he's just an iconic Christmas character. You know what I mean? You say Buzz your girlfriend woof, not even when it's Christmas time. You say it all the time,
I wouldn't let you sleep in my room if you were growing on my ass. It's
a great line.
It's like a perfect mean older brother character.
Yep. I love him so much, man.
Just everything. Just the way that fucking asshole ate pizza was like, this guy's a dick.
Yes.
This is sloppy. I love that guy.
He's the sign-off on the movie because it's like, I got the milk, the eggs, a fabric softener, and they're like, oh, you went shopping? And then like it starts to fade out or whatever, and you hear Buzz in the background, Kevin! And it's like that one last, like, oh, Buzz about to beat the shit out of Kevin.
Dude, and a fucking tarantula? Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, the tarantula, the porno box, all that stuff. It's so funny.
That's peak older brother. Like obviously they made the character, and he's still like is repping the brand. Like he was the one who had the Home Alone Airbnb, and he was the one who would stay with you. So he's still milking that role. I love that he's doing that. And 2, when he puts the candles behind Kevin's head and causes that scene, like just like such a motherfucker. He is such a motherfucker.
I should mention it just because someone's going to say it to us now that we're drafting him. The actor that plays Buzz was recently arrested for like bad domestic shit.
Was
he really?
Yeah, it was like TMZ this week.
Oh.
He was just on Home Sweet Home Alone, the movie. Like
I think that's why it was in the news or something.
What the fuck? That's crazy.
So did he not go to the Airbnb because it was like
I don't know. He got. I don't know if he got charged. He got like accused.
Looks like he's accused. He's
accused,
point,
and like there's. But what it's like in the news.
Alleged.
Just bringing it up because it's in the news.
Shit.
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring the fucking vibes down.
He also had
give us a little cover.
He also had the Bad Boys. It's a Chicago movie. Bad Boys Pistons stuff in his room. So it's like he's just leaning into the Bad Boys shit.
Wow.
At the peak of that rivalry.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that. What kind of an asshole, like as a Knicks fan that grew up with Bulls fans in New York and hated those fucks, how are you a Pistons fan in Chicago and get, Michael Jordan just dropped on your fucking front door and you're rooting for Lambeer and Isaiah?
To be fair, it was 1990, so at that point he was on the good side. He was and mostly in good standing there.
He was a bandwagon. Yep, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Buzz off the board. Good pick. All right, it's back to me. You said you were going to go with a bully type deal. I don't know if he's a bully, but he's a character I love. And Carl, we talked about him yesterday. I got to go with my guy Myron / the Dementor, Sinbad's role in Jingle All the Way. I mean, just that postman who just loved being a fucking asshole.
You love that movie.
I love that movie, and I
movie.
loved him. He's so underrated, Sinbad, in that role.
Sick world, sick people in it. All-time great lines. His stand-up's funny too. If you, I like Sinbad probably a lot more than I realized. Now I'm thinking about it. Like Sinbad makes me laugh exceptionally hard.
Subject of one of the all-time great Mandela Effect movie things, so to speak, the Kazam Shazam thing.
Oh.
So he's technically part of it. You guys know what that is,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
People
It's
fought-
like the Shaq movie verse, and everyone thinks there's a different one with him in it, right? Didn't we talk
Yeah,
about that? Yeah,
they think he's in the Genie movie called Kazam,
right.
but it's not. It's a bizarre thing.
Yeah.
Whole bizarre Mandela Effect.
It's fucked up though, because that happened to me. I got hit by that one, and anyone who doesn't know it, like, look it up. But Carl, did that happen to you? Because I see your face here. I don't know if you don't know what it is, or you're processing the Mandela effect go through your brain right
Wait,
now live on the podcast.
Shaq is on Shazam, right?
Correct.
Yeah, but I thought it was Man of Steel.
That was a different one.
That's no. You're thinking of just Steel.
Steel,
That was just
Steel,
I think
yeah.
it's just called Steel.
And it's like he's RoboCop,
Yeah.
basically.
So he's
Except
not
it's made of
Kazam?
I don't think that's the
No,
thing.
dude, it's like not a real movie.
It's not a movie.
Oh, really?
Sinbad. The
It's
Sinbad
happening
movie is
in
not
real time.
Kazam.
Yeah.
I could have sworn because we did an episode on the Mandela effect. I could have
we
sworn
talked
we talked
about that
about
one?
that. Yeah, but like that also just seems like a movie that Sinbad would do. Like, of course he played a genius.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like, someone should just write it at this point.
Clem, do you like
So
this character?
Sinbad's movie was called Shazam, but it doesn't exist. That's the thing.
Okay.
I like the pick. I'll be honest. So I haven't seen Jingle All the Way in forever. I just wrote Sinbad on my list. Like, I didn't know his name. I was like, I'm just going to say Sinbad in it. I know people love the movie. I remember seeing it a long time ago. I loved it. I have a buddy who he's like a big time, like, he loves like taking pictures of celebrity. We were at an airport waiting to fly to New Orleans to go to a Giants game. Sinbad got off the plane. He chased Sinbad down the airport to get a picture with him, which I thought was the most absurd move. And to this day, I still can't believe, like, there's a level in terms of celebrities I'd even ask for a picture, let alone chase in an airport for. Sinbad is definitely not on any of my tiers.
I'm
Good
gonna upset
pick.
myself right now and just look up what Sinbad's real name is, and it's gonna piss me off.
Oh God, don't do it.
Oh no,
Oh.
David Adkins.
Oh,
That's not
dude.
you can't- Come on.
Bleep it out. Bleep it out in post, bro. We can't
Yeah,
have
no, I
that.
gotta beep that out. I'm sorry, Tom. You gotta beep that. I'm sorry.
I feel like when he was up and coming, he could have been like, "Oh yeah, I'm Sinbad's agent, David Atkins." Like that's such like an agent kind of name, but David Atkins, good for him.
Does anybody dislike the pick?
Not
No.
at all.
Great pick.
No, it's one of those movies I haven't seen in forever.
Yeah. Was that one of the two you're thinking of? Or was that the other one, or no? Is that still on the board?
It was not.
Okay,
But that's a
interesting.
really good pick.
All right, so Myron off the board. Clem, back to you.
Also, Colt McCoy's real name is Daniel, and he was born in, I believe, Arizona or New Mexico.
Ooh,
So
I
keep that
never
one out of
needed
the
to know
podcast.
that in my
That's
entire
fucked.
life. Did not need to know
Little bit
that.
like that.
Nope, don't like that at all, Clem.
I learned that last year as a Giants backup, and it's ruined me.
No wonder he never made it in the NFL in a big way.
Exactly. The real Colt McCoy would have been.
Fuck yeah, he would have. He probably would have won 4 Super Bowls for the Cowboys.
Didn't he win a game this year?
I think so. Yeah.
did.
Yeah, he
That's
did.
one of my
For the
favorite. Every year
Arizona.
there's like quarterbacks come out like that guy want to start. That's one of my favorite
Yeah.
this year to go
Yeah,
out.
he won.
Fitzpatrick before the Magic was one of those guys too. Where it's like, yo,
Yeah,
did you
yeah.
see Fit?
Yeah.
Colt McCoy enters that game against Alabama and wins the national championship.
Oh,
and
big
proposes
time.
to a cheerleader girlfriend at the end of the game.
Yep. Fuck.
All right,
now
so it's
he's
up to
got to
me,
be
right, Ed?
removed from the Barstool Chief army of quarterbacks. I think just deserved a shot, and then they would have made it. But if you're Daniel McCoy, you're out.
Him being part of the Portnoy Sam Ponder thing though muddies the waters because that's pretty like hilarious as like a Barstool ancillary.
That's
story,
crazy too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is very funny.
It's up to me, Ed.
Yep, you're Clem.
All right. So not to be jumpy, but this is the guy I almost took at that other pick 3 if I didn't go with Harry Lime, which that's his name, by the way, which is a crazy name.
Wow.
And the reason I didn't take this is because I know it's going to open up a can of worms, but the can of worms I imagine is going to get open at some point. I'm going to take a Die Hard guy just because it's going to get done, I figure. And I'm a Die Hard, my favorite movie, best movie ever. Got the shirt on right now, actually. The Barstool. The old
Yippee ki motherfuckers! Yeah.
Yippee ki Merry Christmas. I'm going Hans Gruber. If I can't go McClane, I can go Hans Gruber. And this is I've written many blogs about it. John McClane, I think, is the greatest character in movie history. The only person who touches him is, ironically, Hans Gruber, who I think is the greatest villain and maybe the best character, depending how I'm feeling in the morning that day. It's 1A, 1B. I love these fucking guys so much. When Alan Rickman died and everyone was talking about like Harry Potter's, I was so fucking angry online to myself. I was just staring a hole through my phone and my computer the entire day. And it's like, it was like his first performance, right, Kenjac? He was like a play,
big theater guy. Yeah. Yeah, that was another great episode of Movies That Made Us, which I'm sure you've watched.
Yes, definitely. Play actor. You can tell my level of, how distinguished I am. I'm saying, calling him play actor. Theater. Again, the lines he has, the way he says "yippee ki motherfuck," just everything about him. He's fucking. You think he's a terrorist. The whole, we're not really terrorists. The laugh of it all. The plan. The next level thinking. Everything about him. Fucking once he talks about when Alexander. I can't even say that. When Alexander looked the breadth of his, and I had nothing left to conquer.
For Alexander wept, for there were no more worlds to conquer.
Yeah. I knew my guy Chief knew that. Yep. And the whole thing with the suit John Phillips, rumor Zarafek gets his there. Like, he's so distinguished, but he's such a cocky motherfucker. I love everything about him. I could go on for like the next hour, so I'll just save you guys all.
The Asian Don. That was like my favorite part. Was like Asian. I was like, let's get them out of there too. Yeah.
I saw a thing on them on 60 Minutes.
Yeah.
You know what's a crazy bit of trivia from Home Alone 2? Beyond which I'm sure you know, Clem, they dropped Alan Rickman on 2 instead of 3 for that scene, so he was like actually afraid when he fell. So beyond that, the guy who played the one henchman, the one that gets like strangled by the chain, is like the last henchman to die. Yeah, that guy actually has a crazy life story. I blogged about it before. He grew up in Russia, and he was like a ballet dancer, like a very, very successful one. And he basically like had to flee the Soviet Union, and he like escaped by the skin of his teeth, like while the whole ballet troupe was like visiting the US. He like ran off the plane basically and escaped and got political asylum in the U.S.
Wow.
And then just later became a fucking actor, and he got into Die Hard, a couple other things, and he ended up, I think, unfortunately dying kind of young, if I remember correctly.
There's like a video of him dancing, like doing ballet, and it fucks you up. After you see that guy is fucking like the sweetest feet in the world. It's a real mindfuck.
It's crazy.
Yeah, Hans Gruber's he's unbelievable villain. A lot of people would probably be mad that I put Myron over him, but Hans is great.
Yeah, he's
also Sheriff of Nottingham is not to be slept on either by Alan.
Very true.
He is a phenomenal villain actor.
Men in Tights is I think that's a great movie too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
phenomenal movie.
I thought Die Hard was like the end of the like lousy German villain. After like stopped. From like I want to say probably like 1940 forever. It was like you had bad guys, or there was like John Wayne's going to beat somebody up. It's like, all right, let's cast some guys and put them in German uniforms. Like, it was always the Germans.
It's like Temple of Doom fell flat. Who should we have Indiana Jones go up against again? The Nazis.
Bring in the Nazis.
Bring the Nazis back.
Dude, so everyone loves that.
There was just something about the fact that like John McClane, NYPD, going against these like filthy German terrorists.
Were they German?
The last East Germany.
They were like definitely East German. Yeah. Okay. Was that the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
East German All-Stars.
They were Die Hard with a vengeance when they like robbed the Federal Reserve so they could fund or something more like German terrorist shit. So those are good people to watch lose. That's what makes Hans Gruber great. I just like a filthy German that loses at the end.
Even his name rings out in the third movie, right? Because that's his brother, and that's what makes With a Vengeance. Like that is probably my top 10 movies. I don't really love number 2, but number 3 is so good because it's a family affair. We're going with the Grubers.
Was that Jeremy Irons? Was that his brother?
Yes.
Or was that Vengeance? Yeah, Jeremy Irons, by the way, great pick for a brother of Alan Rickman. They both have like such perfect evil guy voices and faces. You know what I mean? Beautiful pick.
Beautiful pick. Hans Gruber off the board. Carl, you're up.
All right. I was going to take Hans Gruber. That's a very good pick. That was my last first rounder. Now I'm in the second tier picks here. I think things are going to fall off real quick now. So I'm gonna take the only elf on the list. I think I'm gonna take Marcus from Bad Santa. Marcus from Bad Santa is so horny and vulgar and vile and disgusting, and he's there to support all the vulgar, vile, disgusting things Billy Bob Thornton does, which makes the movie hilarious in and of itself. Fucks him over at the end. He's just a great character. So I'm taking Marcus. I don't think you're going to find Marcus anywhere else on this list. Marcus.
That actor is just hysterical in general. And like, I don't know his name off the top of my head, but everything he's in is always funny. He always just has a really good line.
Tony Cox is his name.
Just a horny guy.
Great name.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good name. Anthony Cox.
Yeah, he's a great.
That's a risk because there's something else I had, but I'm like, I don't know if Kenjac is going to like that. I think that plays better in the third round. So this is one of the last remaining higher mid-tier characters that I enjoy.
When Mr. Parker comes home and you find out it's little Tony Cox coming out and going crazy on Friday, just an unbelievable reveal. Great pick. And I love how you said the only elf on the draft.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know how to phrase that appropriately.
I love you,
but
Carl. No,
I'm just saying,
like,
it's a good festive mix.
Yeah, it's great.
Bernie Mac might have even been a stronger choice, though. That's going to be up to the, what do you call it, whatever the viewer thinks of the graphic. I love Bernie Mac in that movie, man.
He's still available to be drafted.
Which we're not supposed to say.
Oh, no.
Kenjac, strike one.
It's okay. Apparently, I do that all the time. So,
all right, Marcus is off the board. Chief, you're up.
I do think that it has fallen off substantially now. Like, all the best ones are gone. I'll go with one that it used to be. I don't know if it's still on TBS every day, but A Christmas Story. I think the dad in The Christmas Story is great. So his official character name on IMDb is just the old man.
Old man.
Hey, old man. And, you know, it's just like he's the quintessential dad. You know, he's swearing in the basement trying to fix stuff. You know, it's like he's changing the tire, the F dash word. He gets in trouble. He's just always, you know, he's like another physical comedy guy, kind of like Marvin in a way where he's like battling with the neighborhood dogs. And I think he is a guy who, when he's on camera in that movie, kind of steals the show. Maybe that movie's a little bit outdated, but I think that character is lovable. So the old man.
I had him on my list for those same exact reasons. He's just like, it feels like it's looking at my own dad.
Yeah.
I love him just like being the cantankerous old guy. That's also a little bit of a horny guy as well. We can all appreciate that.
Yeah. Fragile. It's a major award. Yeah. So he has it's a major award. So he definitely has some good moments, some memorable Christmas movie moments, and yeah, I do, but I you know,
it's a grump.
It's Battle versus the Furnace, by the way. That's my dad to a T more than anything else. It's my dad versus any home project he's too cheap to get fixed by a professional.
Right, which ends up just costing you more money.
Exactly.
Yeah, fix all the shit.
As
that
I
you
get
broke
older
on.
and older and have these kids longer and longer, I relate more and more. I'm turning into the old man. And again, the fact his name is the old man makes this pick even better.
Yeah.
Does it go up as the old man in the graphic, Kenjac?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's his name.
That's his name. That's his name. Yeah.
Yeah, sneaking the turkey or whatever. I haven't getting caught with it. Like, it's absolutely. Yeah, A+ pick. I loved it. He's Travis Kelce. Like, it's a position that movie doesn't have a ton of great picks, but he is the absolute stud of it that you could take. So I love it. I was hoping he would get to me next round.
What was the name of the dogs? Was it the Bumpus dogs or something?
Oh man, I can't remember.
Bumpus.
Oh, I think it was Bumpus. Yeah. Wasn't it?
And he also did the Joe Pesci thing where it's like he's cursing but not cursing.
Yeah.
Right.
My dad worked in profanity like Picasso worked in oils. You know, like that. You know, like, that was the line. I feel like that movie. I feel like it's a good movie that people just got sick of because TBS just ran it 24 hours a day, and I feel like if it just popped up every once in a while, I'd be like, like that's a good movie. But
I'm actually putting together a blog right now. You could stay at the house on Christmas. I think you have to stay 2 nights stay minimum. You can stay Christmas maybe even day, but it's $8,000. It's like $4,000 a night, and I'm like, is this a good enough movie? But it's like, is it a good movie or it's just we got so sick of it? Yeah. It's like, the bacon thing on the internet where everyone got, the haters took it over and stuff. And I hate pump gassing up other people's picks. But you cannot overlook that this guy gave his son the Christmas he wanted by giving him that BB gun.
Very true.
That Christmas was ruined. And
big
I got to give
move.
the old man credit. Yeah, big dad. And
big dad move going against the mom.
Yeah, and the mom is a fucking angel, and the fact she doesn't put him in the doghouse just proves that, because a lot of moms put a lot of dads in doghouses for getting BB. White Sox, Mr. White Sox Dave probably was put in a doghouse for getting Dave a BB gun once upon a time.
William Herman Williams is his name.
Yes.
No way, his name is Will Williams. Really?
Oh, Kenjac, yeah, come on.
Wait, does it go by Billy Williams?
Yeah, I think he goes by Billy Williams. Dave tells the story because the Cubs have a guy who's retired his number in Wrigley, and they would go to Wrigley and be like, "Wait, Dad, like you play for the Cubs?" He goes, "Yup." Like there's my flag flying up or the left field pole.
That's
All right,
so funny.
you're up again.
All right, I'm going with the first, which I'm sure will be deemed the chief pick, but I love It's a Wonderful Life. It's one of my all-time favorite Christmas movies. It's something that's my mom's favorite movie. So I'm taking Clarence. I'm taking the angel, Clarence. I think he's a great side character. Obviously, it's not like a lot of comedic relief or anything like that, but I think that's a great movie. He is a great character. He gets his wings at the end. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings. It's like a famous line. Old school movie. But I wanted something from It's a Wonderful Life, and that's the guy to get. So Clarence the Angel.
I think it's a good pick. I was afraid you were going to go with Mr. Potter, because Mr. Potter.
What are you doing?
I mean, what the fuck are you doing?
Just because you're holding it. Kenjac's holding a cat. He just thinks he's
just like an evil. You look like an evil villain right now that's out to ruin Christmas.
Just blacking out, trying to think of what the next pick is going to be. I'm speaking out loud my thoughts, my draft strategy.
Clarence, do you have anything? Do you have any comments separate from that about Clarence Kenjac?
I think Clarence is a good pick. He's like the who's the ghost that follows around Dante in Dante's Inferno? That might be a chief answer. I don't know. There's that. He's basically that character, and I think it's like a fascinating role. The guy who played him was very, very good. And I think like he has a very specific sort of aura you need to let off if you're playing like an angel, and I think he let it off. It's a very difficult type of thing to do.
Yep.
I don't watch any of these old. There's so many movies I haven't seen. I have a definite blind spot in this draft in particular. So that is one of them. If it's black and white, never saw it. If it has like that weird funky color, like Wizard of Oz when they first get colorized, never seen it.
They do a colorized version of It's a Wonderful Life, and it's jarring. Like you can't it feels like it's a completely different movie. You can't watch it. But Clem, your kids are probably going to talk about Die Hard the way that you talk about It's a Wonderful Life.
I'm not disparaging. I'm not calling this. What's the name of that cereal? The Patricia cereal you got? The purely Patricia? I'm not saying
Purely
it's like
Elizabeth. Purely Elizabeth.
Purely
yeah.
Elizabeth.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's like that, but I'm just saying for me, I just have never. I didn't see him as a kid, so it didn't it wasn't an annual thing. That's what a lot of these movies are. Which, by the way, Christmas movies. There's really not a lot of great ones. We came to this conclusion on Pop. There's like 6 that we all watched, and then there's a couple smatterings that you might have, had in your family. So I think we'll see with the next couple characters how varied it is.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick. I think it's something you could have got later though. In my opinion, I don't know.
Sure.
Didn't everybody else have it on their board?
Carl has 2 more picks. I know he likes that movie.
Yeah, that's true.
But I had to have It's a Wonderful Life character. So. That's the guy.
All right, so Clarence is off. Carl, you're up.
Do you want to do one of the ones that Kenjac let out?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest,
his name is Mr. Potter, by the way.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Cat's out of the bag, and it's in fucking Kenjac's hand right now.
There it is. Ow, fuck, dude.
Yeah, I mean, be honest, that's just about the worst thing you could have done there because I was put, but at the same time, you're letting me into your mind. But no, I'm gonna stay with my pre-draft rankings. I'm not gonna let Kenjac influence me here. I'm gonna take an icon. Maybe this guy didn't get enough screen time, but as I'm going through the rest of this, I think this is one of the last names where you say the name and you're like, that fucking guy. I'm taking Old Man Marley from Home Alone.
Oh.
Because he's actually for most of the movie is the baddest bad guy. He's like the scariest guy. Love the legendary aspect of it when they first introduce him and it's like the bodies and the mystique and then him showing up to save the day. That heartwarming element of him getting together with his son, seeing Kevin in church, being like, yo, this is, if you feel bad about yourself, this is the exact place you want to be. Just a great character. Old Man Marley.
Cantankerous guy with a heart of gold is always going to be like a top character in any movie.
He's great.
Yeah, I mean, they turned a guy who was just shoveling into the scariest guy of all time, which was pretty amazing. Yeah, and I love it. You're right. That is the heartwarming scene at the end too when he's watching her sing, and so I think that's a great pick. I think that too is when we were talking about the draft or the side character stuff. To me,
this is really the spirit of like the side character, where now we're getting into characters that are only in the movie for maybe, 10 minutes, maybe limited lines, but high impact characters.
Yeah.
That's how you know John Hughes was awesome, because everyone had like the guy in the neighborhood everyone was scared of, and all he did was shovel his fucking driveway. He would just put salt down, but there would be all these urban legends written about him. Movies that made us. Kenjac, remember this? At the end of the movie, after the credits, John Hughes wanted to, or was it John Hughes? He shot it down. At the end, it says old man Marley ended up killing his family that night, and he's like, "No, we cannot do that." It's completely mind-blowing.
Thank God you guys watched that show together.
Yeah. There's a lot.
It's so good. It's such a good show. They did like Halloween. They did all these other shows. It's amazing. But yeah, that's a great pick. I think that, and I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. Like that character really was sort of like the spirit of the show, or the movie rather. And that like the rest of it's kind of like goofy, like, slapstick humor and shit like that. But like the old man reconciliation and like what family is supposed to mean is like, that's the heart and soul of Home Alone. And that was like probably the biggest moment and sign off of the entire thing. Not even like the reuniting of the parents, or at least a mom, with Kevin.
Yeah, you're right. That's
Do we ding him? Do we ding him for needing like a 7-year-old to teach him about like basic love of your family, or is that the heartwarming side of the whole
Yeah,
thing?
so when he explains why his conflict with his son, they kind of like go through it quickly. It's like, why don't you talk to your son anymore? It's like, we got into a disagreement. He said I didn't want to talk to him anymore. I thought that'd be a good idea, and like that was it. And for Kevin to be able to overcome it, like, you should call him. He's like, that's a good idea, Kevin.
Yeah.
So it's your own fucking son, adult, 35 years old.
There's a phrase like the wisest words come from kids, or something like that, or something like that. I don't know, but I guess that's what he needed.
Yeah. That is
Kids
funny.
say some
Clem.
dumb shit, by the way. It's a bad phrase if it's real.
It's true.
All right, Clem, you're up.
All right, so there was, as I told you guys, I was all over the fucking map with my Harry pick. Didn't think Hans would get back to me, got that. And then the thing that had to put it all together, and this was the best case scenario I could have, was I needed to get this pick to kind of solidify my top 3. I didn't know if Carl would go back. It's not his style to go back to the well of the same kind of genre. Hey, Cousin Eddie's number 1. Motherfucking goat of Christmas Vacation. However, there is another person in Christmas Vacation. Limited screen time, but hits nothing but motherfucking grand slams. And it's Aunt Bethany. Aunt Bethany is just, I mean, the blessing, the start singing the national anthem or whatever it is, or Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
She's just an absolute just riot for honestly, she might be on screen for like 5 minutes total, might say like 6 lines, but she's an absolute blast the entire time. So Aunt Bethany is my pick.
And she represents like the perfect, like, I feel like everybody had that when you're a young kid, and it's just like, it's not your aunt, it's like your fucking parents' aunt.
Right.
And they're just
The
so
great
old,
aunt.
but you call her aunt anyways. It's like, yeah, I got my Aunt Nancy, but no, it's like Aunt Clarita, and she's fucking 87 with a bad hip.
Old as shit.
And that's Aunt Bethany.
This is like unrelated, but I feel like old people looked so much older when we were kids. Like they looked worse, like way worse than old people do now. I don't know what happened, but like they got a distinct old person look back then. And Aunt Bethany was the perfect like caricature of that.
Maybe because it was
living a
like you
much
could
harder
die
life,
at
I
any
guess, back
time or
then.
something. Or
Maybe.
Like,
or maybe they just lived through harder times. That could be. I don't know.
And they just smoked their entire lives.
That's
From,
true,
The time
yeah.
they started smoking butts. And,
Yeah, the baby's crying. Give him some bourbon. Like that. Like,
And I always feel like for me, I'm like, I always, in my mind's eye, I'm, 25 forever, but I'm like, do I look like a fucking old man when I go into like a restaurant or something like that? I probably do. But like you said, like the old people, they used to look old as shit. And
Yeah.
she's kind of next level. She wraps the goddamn Jello mold too with the cat stuff. She's just an absolute riot, man. I love it. And by the way, I think I looked it up. Died in 98. Pretty impressive. She lived like 10 years after this movie came out.
Wow.
Which is,
wow.
yeah.
That's very impressive, actually.
Yeah.
She looked like cracked leather.
They couldn't hear if a nitroglycerin, if the truck was going through a nitroglycerin plant. Oh, I fucking love Aunt Bethany. R.I.P.
That's
All
a
right.
good pick.
Aunt Bethany off the board. It's to me. Man, I'm between 2 people right now. And this is, when you're in the spot, you're always just playing the person who's behind you because he's got 2 picks. So, fuck it. I'm going to go with someone he's a one-trick pony. And I know he's a one-trick pony, but it's still unbelievably classic, and it's Fuller.
Knew it. As soon as you said one trick pony, he's the most one trick pony on the list.
Big time. Don't go easy on the Pepsi. But for some reason, when his face gets smashed by that chair, it was like laugh out loud funny as a kid, and it's just, I mean, he was just a kid who got the fucking runt of everything. You know?
He's the linchpin to the story. Because if Fuller doesn't piss the bed,
Yeah,
Kevin's not sleeping in the attic. And if Kevin's
Yep.
not sleeping in the attic, Kevin's in the fucking bus.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
Fucking Roman Roy of all people.
Yeah,
Look
exactly.
at it in retrospect.
Yeah. So yeah, there's not like a ton to say about Fuller, but he's also, for such a minor role, you're right, he's such a big character.
I could pick like a million characters from Home Alone, but I think he would be up on the list right behind. What was his name? Old Man what?
Marley?
Yeah, he'd be right behind him.
Yeah, so I'm happy with Fuller.
Yeah, extremely recognizable.
Yeah. And the thick glasses, like they really made that kid.
He's a
stick
great
out.
character.
And it's another family character. I feel like if you're going to a family party with cousins, like you have the younger cousin that's just like, I can't get water in my ear. Like, leave me, like, what up? It's just like, fuck. Play nice with your cousins.
Pepsi can as big as his head.
Yes.
Fuller. Kenjac, you're up.
I think I'm gonna go back to the well of bullies and take my second big bully here. I'm gonna do Scott Farkas. Scott Farkas, all-time great name, all-time great bully. He has like that perfect fucking scrunched up little rat face, like the tiny beady eyes, the fucking weird. We had like braces or something too, like a little messed up.
The
teeth.
yellow teeth, like the way they even describe him is just in that movie.
Wearing like the Lewis and Clark raccoon hat, like everything about him was a perfect bully. Like if I were to list like my favorite movie villains, they'd be like what's his name from Karate Kid's up there, and then like these guys are all right here. Like Scott Farkas, just a fucking perfectly disgusting villain name. Great lines in the movie. He's just like an awesome antagonist as far as like just shitting on Ralphie and his friends and his brother. I really love everything about that character.
He's got staying power too. Like you post that picture on Christmas, everyone's like, "Whoa, man, that guy was something. He was some visual."
He looks great now. I don't know if you've seen pictures of him. I mean, he looks phenomenal. He could be like a model or something.
Really?
Pisses me off. It's almost like the kid from Stuart Little actually became like a bodybuilder. It's crazy.
I would have like in my brain like he grew up to be like the Shermanator. Like they're the same person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The hat too ties it all together.
Yeah.
The like, fox hat or whatever he's wearing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good looking guy.
What do you call it? It's a like Lewis and Clark hat, I guess. But
I would say that's a Davy Crockett hat, like a coonskin cap.
yeah, Davy Crockett.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Yep.
Yeah. I forget which point you made too about how like it's very hard to have good kids in movies. It was which pick did you make that on? Whatever. Or how did you put it?
Thurman.
How did you put it again, Kenjac?
So like a bad kid actor can derail a movie when it's like focused around them.
Yeah, like this is like a different side note, but I honestly, like, don't get me wrong, a lot of new Sandler movies have their flaws, but I honestly think one of its biggest flaws are the kids just aren't the same. Like the kid, like when he had Julian and Big Daddy, and like they're just used to be so much better. And all
Sprouse
the
twins,
Yeah,
man.
Billy Madison.
all the kids in Billy Madison were
Yeah.
great.
Like Ernie prank calling
Yeah.
the fucking teacher and being a weirdo.
And now he just like every time now for all these movies for what's the fucking one that he does with all the buddies? Grown Ups?
Grown Ups.
Yeah, and like blended, like it's just the same kids with like shaggy hair, and like there's nothing to them, I feel. So I don't know.
Does
Like
he cast his
non-existent.
kids in his movies? I know he casts his wife.
I don't
He
know.
cast his both his kids, I think, in most of them. And I think in Click, like his daughter was in it, and I think at least in the last Grown Ups movies, it was a daughter or maybe his son was in. I don't know.
Imagine being that big of a superstar where you're like, I'm gonna do
Yeah,
this movie.
it's
My
awesome.
wife's gonna be the fucking supporting actress, and my kids will be in it.
All
Got
right,
that power.
you're up again, Kenjac.
This is a tougher spot for me because I have the pick I want to make, and then I have the pick that I should make. I think I'll do the character I want to pick, and that's Miles Finch from Elf, which is Peter Dinklage. His scene is arguably the funniest scene in all of Elf, other than maybe like you smell like meat and cheese, you don't smell like Santa. His whole scene where he's like, call me Elf one more time, buddy, and then he just fucking rams him with his head. Like his whole attitude and everything of like the super superior successful kids author, and like that being a part of it too. Like him being an arrogant author is one thing, but being an arrogant kids author, like, yeah, I fucking wrote like Bo Peep, dude, like you can't talk to me. Like this, it's so funny to me that how that character works, and just I think he really stole the show in Elf. And like he might not be as big as Buddy. Obviously, Will Ferrell's like just dominates the movie, but man, I just love that character. And Miles Finch is just a great name. Also a great name.
Yeah, very funny scene. Very, very funny.
Mm-hmm.
That's another movie, maybe just because we have too much White Sox Dave exposure, that I think is starting to get way too much hate. Like Dave,
You think Elf got?
White Sox? Maybe I'm just biased from sitting next to White Sox Dave. He fucking hates that movie. He like if you bring up
Really?
Elf, he'll just shit on it relentlessly.
I'm fucking losing a battle with the sun right here. I gotta close my shit.
I love Elf, and that story that went viral a couple months ago. I blogged it was Will Ferrell turned down $29 million for Elf 2 because he didn't like the script and didn't want to kind of ruin the original. I was like, thank God, man, because Elf's one of those rare movies that actually, again, movies that made us. Another fucking they cover that as well. But it's I love that movie. I will say, once the horses show up in Central Park, it goes off a cliff. But other than that, everything before that is dynamite. I love it. I would say like the supporting characters aren't great in it, but as we could tell, like we're kind of it's slim pickings from here on out. And Dinklage is probably the top of the list. And once I saw he was Tyrion, I'm like, holy shit, that's the dude from Elf. Completely my fuck.
Miles Finch off the board. All right, it's back to me. I'm gonna take the only guy who believed, John McClane, who was there for him when he needed help, and I'm gonna take Al Powell. So, he was great in that. He was great as was it Step by Step? He was the father.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Family Matters. Family Matters.
Family Matters. Sorry, yeah, I knew
Carl
it was one
Winslow.
of the two. Yeah, yeah.
Carl Winslow.
Just a great guy. Like that's like what a perfect casting decision to make that guy in that role where he's just like helping people out.
He made me tear up in the movies that made us, dude. And I'm sorry, we're gonna keep referencing this over and over again. Keep picking movies from it. But he had like a scene where he revisits the building where Nakatomi Plaza is like in, and like he's like just like talking very like waxing poetic about it. Man, it just made me want to it made me tear up. He's just like such a nice, genuine dude.
Yeah,
He's so good in that role that they just like made an entire sitcom where he like moves to Chicago and just has a family, right? Like, and everyone goes like no one calls him Al Powell, they all call him Carl Winslow. It's like, oh yeah, like
But you're Al
calls
Powell.
Carl Winslow at this point.
And there was like I think that him getting that role was like his last. He's like, this is the last audition I'm doing because he wasn't getting roles, he wasn't getting anything, movies, TV, whatever. He's like, this is like my last chance. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna go back home. And like I think it was like he wanted to make his mom proud and stuff like that. He's like, this was the last chance I had, and it worked out, and it gave me a long career in movies and film. And I was just happy that like his mom had got a chance to see him on the big screen before she had passed away. I was like, dude, you're fucking tearing out my heart here.
Yeah.
Come on.
and it
Mr.
makes sense
Winslow.
too. He's just like a heartwarming guy. Like he's
Definitely,
just
yeah.
great guy.
That guy has soft eyes, man. You can't fake those
He's
soft
got
eyes.
kind
He just
eyes.
has them, man. Reginald Val Johnson. Shout out to him.
Yes. Great name too.
Yeah.
It's all right. Al Powell is gone. Clem, you're up.
All right. So there's a lot of things on the board here, but they all have their strengths and weaknesses. And I'm like, is this guy really worthy of getting on my squad here? Basically, there's a whole bunch of them. I guess I'll just stick with the board here and just trust the process. And we're gonna go Yukon Cornelius. I just think
It's a good
he's
pick.
Good pick.
he's a fucking lovable guy. He rides and dies for Rudolph, who can't be drafted. I can mention him, right? He's obviously the star of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So just a good dude, and I mean, fucking got funky hair. I don't know, Yukon Cornelius. Great name. Great fucking name.
Great
Amazing
great
name.
mustache.
Yes.
Yeah.
Claymation,
Fantastic.
very big.
Got a joke
Yeah.
that you hit.
That's one of the few movies like I despise claymation because I find it very creepy. Like it gives me like very big psychopath vibes every time I watch anything with claymation. That Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer movie is like one of the few things where it like makes me feel like, oh, that's heartwarming, that's nice, that's cute, whatever. The rest of them, like whatever, Nightmare Before Christmas, like all that shit, I'm just like, get that the fuck away from me.
They had a Ted Lasso. They did like an animated Ted Lasso thing today, and the first thing I thought of was Rudolph, and it kind of gave me like that warm Christmas, feeling in my belly for a minute there, right? Like that's what Rudolph does, but everything else they've kind of gone. It doesn't have the same. It doesn't hit the same. As Rudolph. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, Cornelius. Yukon Cornelius. Off the board, Carl, back to you.
I feel like Yukon Cornelius would fit in perfectly at the Chicago office, by the way.
Yes.
Like he comes in for like a week. You guys make some videos with him. It would be a blast. I don't know how we can make that happen, how we could turn a cartoon character to life. But if we ever get that technology, we got to make that fucking happen.
It's a good
Bring
point.
Bring him in.
That's such a well stated point, Clem.
Keep him away from the fucking beer. So I can tell you, like, Yukon Cornelius
that guy puts him
might get a
down.
little grumpy. Yeah, it'll get a little crazy.
Is that our first animated pick?
I believe so. Yeah.
To me?
Yep.
To you.
All right, I have to go Die Hard here, and there's two characters that are in play. I am going to take. I mean, he might be more quotable than McClane. I'm going to take Ellis. I'm going to take the coked out, very, I don't even know, confident, arrogant.
He was such a he is like the
Yes.
epitome of the 80s yuppie douchebag. And
It's baby. I'm
Yeah.
your white knight.
yeah.
And when he gets killed is one of the great scenes in that movie. When they shoot him in the head, and he's like, "I promise you, John McClane, I will get you, John McClane." He could have just been a regular hostage. He could have just sat Indian style with everybody else in the room with his hands behind his back. But he volunteered himself to go into the Nazi whatever office they take over, right? And he's like sitting there drinking a Coke, which is funny that they have him drinking a Coke when he's just like coked out of his fucking mind. I'm sure that's some subliminal thing, but Ellis.
Great sleazeball.
He is, big time sleazeball. But he was like that, like if you close your eyes and think of like the 80s, like he's like the guy. Like he's the epitome of like the
like
yuppie douchebag, throwing money around. Everybody kind of fucking hates him. He's the guy. So that movie really, like, the more we're talking about it here, like, makes me want to go watch it. It's one of those I haven't seen in a long time, but maybe it's just because Clem loves it so much too that I just I get back into Die Hard.
I feel like people probably get sick of me saying how much I love it, but it's my favorite. I have one movie poster in my house. It's Die Hard. I'm looking at it right now. I fucking love this movie so much. And Ellis is I did a power rankings of the top 25 characters in the movie Once Upon a Time, and he's number 3 on my list. And if I ever say a Die Hard line, if anyone ever replies to me with an Ellis gif, I'm like, that's someone who gets it. Like, if you truly understand, like, that is it's comedically, but it's also, like you said, the perfect summing up of like those 80 yuppie scumbags. The Coke thing, I always wondered if anyone else ever put that, like, feels like a double entendre. I don't know if it's even the right phrase for that, but all those things together, and he almost like fucks McClane's entire like fucking plan up just by being such a scumbag. He's perfect. And he was, if I drafted another Die Hard character, he was next on my list.
You know what's kind of funny, Clem, is like I have some movie posters up behind me in my like hallway, and like there's normal stuff. It's like Guardians, Galaxy, it's Parasite, whatever. But then there's one I have in Glorious Bastards, and then my girlfriend was like, she's like, yeah, like it's really cool you like this movie, but there's just a giant fucking swastika in the middle of our apartment, and it'd be kind of cool if we just like switched it out. I'm like, there's fucking nothing I can do. I mean, they're killing Nazis more than any other movie maybe in history. So.
Good point.
I see both sides of this argument. Yeah, it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough. I'm right there.
No, this is an anti-Nazi poster. You don't get it. Yeah.
You don't fight. I'm just gonna gaslight her into thinking like, yeah, she's actually just wrong on this. It's not actually swastika. It's reversed.
The guy who plays Ellis, his name is Hart Bachner, and he's Canadian, which is shocking. He seems like pure American fucking capitalist asshole, right? I'm shocked he's Canadian. It's kind of ruined it for me.
If you could say it, what was your 1 and 2 on that list, Clem? Was it obviously
It's 1 McClane,
2.
and then 2 is Hans. But I say in the block, I basically switch them every day of my life.
Where's Powell on that list?
Powell is, I believe, 4.
Okay.
Hold on, I got it right here. I don't want to give away any other names on there, but let's see. Yeah, Powell's 4. So we got the top 4. One's ineligible, and the next 3 are all gone.
Interesting. All right, Chief, you're up.
I'm like out of picks here, I guess. But I'll go with a Die Hard guy too, and I'll take the limo driver, Argyle. I feel like the board is just light now. I thought he was a great character in that movie, and I want a Die Hard guy on there. And I probably would have gone Ellis if you didn't pick Ellis. So Argyle and Ellis, there's a big gap there, but Argyle is another guy who like comes through in the end. Good character, a guy who's just sitting there doing his job, miserable in Christmas, and then ends up helping save the day. So
he does wonderful things for the story.
Yeah,
because while all the heavy shit's going on, like you can cut back to Argyle just chilling in the limo, listening to music, having a drink, just hanging out, doing whatever, and then you cut back and it's like John McClane barefoot, submachine gun fire.
Yeah.
So it's just like a perfect break, and he's so fucking cool. Like the opening scene where they're introducing why John McClane's out there, and like the way the conversation's going, he's asking about his wife and all that shit. Like it within such a short period of time sets the tone for the chaos in that target. I like him.
Yeah, good transition.
It's a great like butler / chauffeur name, Argyle.
Yeah.
Like that's just like a perfect name for that sort of position.
I just had the Die Hard IMDb up. His real life name is like the sweetest name. It's like Devereaux White. Like D apostrophe Devereaux White. But yeah, so
Argyle.
Cool last name.
Argyle.
Where was he, Clem?
I love that he goes back at McClane too, where he's like, "What, did she beat you up? What's going?" Like, even like a gruff guy like McClane who's like an NYPD, the fact he doesn't back down from him because he kind of like shrugs him off. I always respected Argyle so much for that, and he's number 8 on my list, but this isn't like best. It's like it's power rankings, but I said he's the most likable character in the movie. He cracks jokes, knows how to have fun while in German, would probably help you bury the body of a dead hooker if maybe we get a better tip. But the only issue with him is he's in that fucking garage and has no idea what the fuck's going on. He kind of like loses himself in the fucking time of it all. I guess he's waiting for McClane, but I had him as 8 on the list.
Okay.
But in terms of this draft, I wrote him down first. It was Hans, Powell, and then I wrote Argyle down, and I go, oh fuck, I forgot Ellis, and then I just moved Ellis, up the list, but he's right there for this draft.
All right, start of the 5th round, Chief. Last round.
So now I'm in a spot where I know what I want to take, and the 80s yuppie douchebag kind of like triggered something in my brain, but they're a couple. So like I'm wondering for this pick if I can take both Todd Chester and Margot Chester, which is Julia Louis-Dreyfus' character in A Christmas Story. So the neighbors who just get like perpetually accidentally fucked with in that throughout that movie, and like the Chevy Chase and they're just completely oblivious to it. Like they're sending like icicles through their window. They're just fucking everything up. The bright lights going directly into their house. Like it's another like small bit role, but like provides like comedic relief for that movie. So I always thought they popped on camera. I love Julia Louis-Dreyfus, but I guess like I don't know if I'm allowed to take both, but I feel like you can't take just one.
I feel like we can make an exception
because nobody else
I don't think
wants
anyone's
it.
going to take one of the other ones.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you guys think?
I'll let you take both. You just got to give me Marv to complete my.
Yeah.
No, is that right? Okay.
Can I hear Carl do a I don't know, Margot?
I don't know, Margot. I don't know. I can't do that. I don't know.
It sounds better in my head. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm in rule mode right now. I want to render some sort of judgment on this.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think
they're so small.
You should just take.
They're so small.
It's a small role, yeah. But I think it's similar to Aunt Bethany. Like she is a small camera time too in that movie.
I know. I'm saying like the fact that it's such a small role is pushing me towards saying you could have both on the graphic. But the fact that we ruled instantly that to break up Marvin and Harry, but Marvin and Harry are so big and different on their own right, and it's not like you ever see one on camera without the other, or like they are very much a package deal.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I can't lead an argument against it.
Yeah, the Chesters, you get the Chesters. Great characters though. Carl, you're up.
Very funny characters.
Obviously, they're going to be in the shiny suits in the graphic, Kenjac.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, question, sunglasses and all.
Can you imagine having a neighbor like Clark Griswold and some yuppie schmuck? Like it's just the perfect oil and water. I'm like hankering to watch this movie. I haven't watched any real Christmas movies other than kids stuff, obviously. So the wife and I are gonna have to delve into this one for sure.
Carl,
I was gonna take this guy in the 2nd round. I was gonna take him in the 3rd round. I was gonna take him in the 4th round. And just like as it just kept lining up, I was like, no, I think he's gonna be there the next time I pick. Kenjac, you tried to fuck me on it. I'm taking Mr. Potter from It's a Wonderful Life. Probably the nastiest villain on the list. I'm pretty sure film critics call him like one of the greatest villains of all time.
He's evil.
Yeah,
he's evil.
He's just. Is it Sidney Greenspan who plays him?
Oh, I don't know.
I'll look, because if it is, it's like a super famous.
Wait, that plays Mr. Potter?
Yeah, who plays him?
It's one of the Barrymores. I forget which one.
Oh.
It's like it's. I think Drew Barrymore's great grandfather, maybe just grandfather, probably great grandfather.
Yeah, Frank Capra. Whatever.
Yeah,
It's
what
one
a
of them.
dick this guy is, huh?
Big time
Great
dick.
asshole.
And
No regard.
now just hold on a second there, Mr. Potter. Like he just elicits such hatred, even though it's like this small make-believe town where he's like this Roman. Like it's so funny, this capitalistic guy in this small town in the middle of nowhere is like, you know, being a fucking dick and rolling people with an iron fist. And
Yeah, he's definitely a fucking huge villain.
Huge
one of
villain.
the best. Yeah, this is like him and Hans, like in a different roundabout way. Like those are both two evil motherfuckers.
it is Lionel Barrymore. Frank Capra made the film It's a Wonderful Life. I misread the Google information I had on that, Kenjac.
I knew it was a Barrymore. I just forgot which one.
What was your Potter comments before Kenjac? Did you have that now that you could speak on it?
My thought process was that he might be a better pick within the movie than Clarence, only because he is a better villain than Clarence is Angel, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I went with the good guy.
Yeah, Chief just likes the.
I like
good
the
guys.
heartwarming good guy.
That's all
He
it
was
comes down
also
to.
I have his Wikipedia up here. So Lionel Barrymore, talk about evil Christmas characters. He was the voice of Ebenezer Scrooge.
That makes perfect sense.
So like this guy he's just like the most evil Christmas villain of all time. Might as well have let him
Big
play the Grinch too.
Big time. All right, Mr. Potter off the board. Clem, you are up.
Man, there's so many here.
Make or break time, Clem. I'm looking at your board, and I
This
think
is
you
it.
could win it here.
This is it.
You win most of the drafts. You come on, Clem.
Gizmo, the gremlin.
That's a good one. I like that.
Never seen that one.
Wow, you just go Gizmo?
That was it's like, I don't know if this is gonna how it's gonna fly on the graphic, but he's just so fucking cute. Like I just
he
can't turn down
is.
those puppy dog eyes. Like, and the thing is, I know it's not gonna play with the younger crew because I imagine most people didn't see Gremlins, but he's just so fucking cute, man. Like that thing, you get that thing just a little wet, he's gonna kill your ass. But he's so cute.
Well, Gizmo never turned. Am I right? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? It's so outside the box. I like it.
Great pick. So
Fucking-
you're definitely gonna lose some younger crowd, like you're saying, but like I think that's such an iconic face in movies. You know what I mean? You see Gizmo's face, and you're like, oh yeah, Gremlins. Like, you know, well, at least for people who have seen it, and I think that's a very associated for me anyway with like any sort of movie creature. Like that would be one of the first ones I probably think of.
And listen, I'm not gonna lie, like my next two on the board could potentially like be great closers on this too, but I just can't turn down that fucking face. And if you guys draft either of the other two people on this list, it's gonna kill me because that might be the thing that flips it. But I gotta go. He's just so goddamn cute.
what do you think?
I mean, frankly, I'm shocked. I'm just, I thought you could have taken that in so many different directions. Gizmo, it's going to stand out. It'll stand alone. You'll get the vote from people who are like, oh, Gremlins, that's a cute Christmas. I forgot, or I don't, like I'm identifying. Because HBO Max list Gremlins is like, if you go to the holiday tab, they have a subsection where it's like kind of holiday-ish, and it's like Batman Returns and Lethal Weapon. I think the third
Holiday
one they're
adjacent.
listing is Gremlins.
So me and Robbie did a Batman Returns rewatch, and I think I saw Gizmo on there. I think that's what spurred it into my brain. And me and Robbie had a whole thing about how Batman Returns is a Christmas, because we've reached the point where people are saying Home Alone isn't a Christmas movie. We're out of stuff to debate because the Die Hard one has been so beaten to death that I feel like that's going to become the next one. Is Batman Returns, and then Gremlins will probably be in the mix as well.
Was that a joke?
What?
Was that a joke? The people
What?
don't think Home
No,
Alone.
that's the thing now.
What are they talking about?
I mean,
Who said
A lot
It's
of
that?
just
crazy
assholes.
yeah.
We got to get them in a room with White Sox, Dave. they'll quit.
Yeah.
Give White Sox Dave a BB gun too. His childhood one.
They
I
will
will
say
say
that.
this:
Change their tune.
Frosty the Snowman is not a Christmas movie, though.
I agree.
I always say Die Hard is closer to a Christmas movie than Frosty the Snowman is, because there's barely any reference of Christmas in the entire.
Just a snowman. Just a seasonal movie.
Yeah.
It's a
The
winter,
winter
movie.
movie.
I will say this as well for this pick, a big part of it, and I'm relying on my guys here. I got they all have C's on their chest. They're all fucking there's a reason they were drafted this team. Yukon Cornelius, he's the pick above him. He's gonna lift Gizmo up and go, well, if Yukon says it's good, Gizmo's cool with me. So that's kind of how I was planning that.
Gizmo.
He's asking a lot of people though.
Yeah.
Clem, you're asking people to identify with Yukon, Gizmo, and Aunt Bethany rounds 3 through 5.
His top 2 are so strong.
That's
though.
the top 2
Yeah.
are strong. The next 2 are very like cult heavy. Like you're gonna get so many loyal people, and then you go on the 5th. I thought it was an opportunity to tie it together, and we'll see. Gizmo plays. I mean, it's a polarizing pick.
There's one guy here, I won't say the name, that might have actually been a better like tie it all together thing, but we'll get to that in
Honorable mentions.
Also, honorable mentions.
All right, it's to me. I mean,
I gotta hop on.
there's so many guys here, and there's so many Home Alone people still available. But I have 2 already, but I'm going to still take someone from the movie I like just because I love this character so much. I'm taking Ted from Jingle All the Way.
Fuck.
Was he your Mr.
Yeah,
Relevant?
he was going to be my next one. He was going to close it all up.
Holy fuck, Phil Hartman.
I thought about him in the 4th round, but I fucking hate him though.
But
He's just perfect though. The perfect
unbelievable.
asshole.
Yes.
I was going to bring this up in honorable mentions if he didn't get drafted. I think one of the hard things I've been thinking about is, do I like these characters? Are they good to the movie?
Yeah.
You know, so it's like when he's on screen, he's just so annoying and he's such a creep, and it's just like fuck
I
this.
bought Johnny a Turbo Man months ago.
Yeah, like he empowers
Your
other
wife's
people to be
cookies
fun.
are delicious.
My cookies.
He's such a brave motherfucker, by the way, trying to cuck Arnie. Peak Arnie. You got to be a psychopath, man.
Yeah. It's nestled safely under our tree. Like he's just unbelievable. And then his run ends with getting smacked over the face with some eggnog, with a monster thermos by Arnold's wife. Rita Wilson, right? I love him. I think he like I quote that all the time. I quote him all the time. I think he's like Phil Hartman doesn't get enough love for that role. So I'm happy you're going to go there. I'm happy I grabbed it then, Kenjac, because I would have been thinking about that for a while if I passed on my guy and you got him. So
Any reservations about double Jingle All the Way?
I mean,
It's a very Eddie move.
yeah, sure. There is reservations, but I had to do it. Like I had to take Sinbad because I knew it wouldn't get past you. And then this is my guy. Like this is being true to myself, and then also being grabbing a great character. So I took Ted from Jingle All the Way, Clem. I know you're not a big Jingle All the Way guy, but Phil Hartman's character.
Yeah,
Unreal.
I was thinking about it today. I almost just did wake up blocks have kind of gone the way of the dodo bird here, but I just want to do a wake up with like all the hi, I'm Troy McClure's, because Phil Hartman was just such a fucking gem, man. Just a peach
Awesome.
of a character. So when you said the name, I had no idea who it was. You say Phil Hartman and anything had me sold, and yeah, Jingle All the Way is awesome.
Oh, he's
good pick.
cookies. It's just it's endless.
Harry's gonna pee his pants over
I
there,
know. See, Harry,
giggling.
you
That's
like
a good
him?
impression.
Oh, he's just great.
The fact, again, I can never get over that. The fact that he tried to cuck Arnold Schwarzenegger. And by the way, I think Arnold Schwarzenegger is like a mattress salesman in Jingle All the Way. Nothing about it makes sense. It's such a great movie. I love Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, I do too. So that's why I had to go. I had to double up there with Home Alone too. So, all right, Kenjac, Mr. Irrelevant.
Can I say my honorable mention since no one's up after me? Like what I'm trying to pick between here?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I have a couple left on the board. I have Max the dog from The Grinch, because I do think that dog is kind of like a very humanizing aspect for The Grinch. And it's always good having a dog on your team. I have Uncle Frank from Home Alone, which was an amazing character.
Yeah.
Like, look what you did, you little jerk. And like that scene is just, I fucking love that scene. I have the Heat Miser, who's one of the only claymation characters I actually like, because he has a
hot
fire
button.
song. He has a fire song, the Heat Miser.
Oh
The Heat
yeah,
Miser song-
I'm waiting for an honorable mention for that. But say this is make your pick. Let's go. I want to talk Heat
Okay.
Miser.
And then I have the know-it-all kid from Polar Express, because I think that kid is not only an amazing, very iconic, like you look at him and you think Polar Express, you immediately think Christmas, but like he also became his own meme. Though, like, you want to play Sicko Mode or Mo Bamba? Like that, he became his own meme, and that is way bigger than almost anyone in this movie, which is nuts.
Good
or anyone in
point.
this draft so far. Great meme. Fuck it. I'll just do Uncle Frank. I'll do Uncle Frank. Fuck it. Do Uncle Frank.
Yeah.
So like,
And
we
Jack
picked
is-
like.
Kenjac has put together one of the most unlikable teams in the history.
In history. They're all bad guys, all of them. And I wish I got Ted because he would have at least been the sexual deviant bad guy on the team too. But everyone's unlikable, and I don't care because they're all
Thurman
great
Merman.
characters.
Thurman Merman's very likable.
The only likable one.
Yeah.
That poor son of a bitch, he's just getting fucking tortured by your team. He has two bullies. He has Uncle Frank, and who's the other guy?
I'll run down the whole thing right now.
Jesus Christ, Kenjac, you're a sick son of a bitch.
Chief, Marv, the old man, Clarence, Argyle, the Chesters, Carl, Cousin Eddie, Marcus, Old Man Marley, Harry Ellis, Mr. Potter, Clem, Harry, Hans Gruber, Aunt Bethany, Yukon Cornelius, Gizmo, Eddie, Gus Polinski, Myron, Fuller, L. Powell, Ted Moulton, Kenjac, Thurman Merman, Buzz, Scott Farkas, Miles Finch, and Uncle Frank. That's a heel. That's a heel list.
Heel team.
But
And I
they're
love
all
everything
great
about-
characters, though.
They're great Christmas characters, and I feel like people might not vote for it on the count of them being bad guys, but I don't care. I'm proud of this team. They are iconic players in the Christmas movie.
If you want your Christmas ruined, draft Kenjac.
I feel like Kenjac had some like issues on Christmas. We need to dive deeper
Dude,
into
all you guys took all the good guys. What do you want from me?
He took all the good guys.
You take best available. I took like 5 tight ends in the fucking.
I do not draft any McCallister family members because they're all such scumbags. But you draft you want more. You wish you could have more on your list right now. I love it. I love it. Don't get me wrong.
Uncle Frank is so funny. Not even just like his other cheapsate stuff, like on the plane and all. Like when they're at the hotel, all of it so good. He's just like, and the guy that plays him, I can't think of the name off the top of my head. Just a brilliant performance and just a great hateable one-dimensional bad guy character, and I appreciate a lot about that.
You could make a case he's worse than Buzz because Buzz is a kid and he's an older brother. That's like what you're supposed to do. Like being an evil uncle like that takes such you're such a awful, terrible human being for the way he treats Kevin and basically everyone else.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Just a grumpy guy. All right, obviously there's a shit ton in Home Alone 1 and 2, right? Tim Curry character, the concierge.
Concierge,
yeah. Rob Schneider, Mr. Duncan, I liked him.
Yep. Bird Lady.
Yeah, the Bird Lady.
Yep.
I was really close to thinking about the Santa Claus from the first one. When he sees me, gives him some Tic Tacs. There's something that always made me laugh about that Santa who just like ripping a heater too.
Mm-hmm. I love that guy. Whoever that actor is, I love him. He rules.
You could do Artie Lang in Elf, but I feel like it's more about Will Ferrell's interaction with him than it is about himself.
Yeah. And Clem said it too, and that made me realize making my list that Elf is like really carried on the back of Will Ferrell.
It's just him.
Yeah,
because even Zoe Deschanel's became like a pretty big star after that, but she's not like great in that movie.
Yeah.
Elf is the mid 2000s Cavs. And Will Ferrell's LeBron. And he's just carrying that entire fucking. And like you said, Zoe Deschanel, she becomes something better down the road.
Yeah.
But there's nobody here that. Well, there is one person that I almost drafted instead of Gizmo, but everyone else, it's like they're basically carrying.
Well,
who was it?
Who was it? We're in honorable mention. This is the time.
James Caan.
You want to talk small bit characters? Mr. Norwell. I fucking love that guy. Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad.
Mr. Norwell would have fucking played on the graphic.
Yeah, it definitely would have.
Yeah.
So I was like, shit, because he was lower on my list. I might have, because he's just as cute. He's almost as cute as Gizmo, but he actually plays to a much bigger crowd. So I might have went him there. I just kind of lost him in the shuffle. But that's like, if you were to say, if I had to rank my favorite Elf characters, would be Will Ferrell 1, Mr. Norwell 2. It might be Mr. Norwell 1, if we're being honest. I should have had him.
The Arctic Puffin was good too. Not now, Arctic Puffin.
What was the 4th overall pick?
Fourth overall
Gus.
was Gus Polinski.
So that was technically the first 3 picks were all bad guys, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like the more I'm thinking about it, there is a lot of heavy weight on how good the bad guys are. So bad they're good, basically.
Yeah. That's true.
Cousin Eddie is like, what is he? He's like chaotic good.
He's not really
Yeah.
a bad guy. Yeah.
Not a bad guy, but definitely not a good guy.
Right.
Not a person you want to hang out with or you want stuck at your house
For
for a
Christmas.
long period
Yeah.
of time.
I'm disappointed. Carl, you didn't take Bernard.
Yeah, Bernard was on my list, so was Neil. I had a hard time picking between Neil or Bernard. I think Neil's funnier in the movie Santa Claus, the therapist,
Oh yeah.
But I think Bernard just rounds it out. Like he's the one who makes the North Pole real. He's the one who like really makes the Santa character feel real.
And we talked about him on the 10 Things I Hate About You. So that's
It's an iconic '90s actor.
Almost like the cop who gets a donut just shoved in his hole always made me laugh. He was considered.
Wait, so what's the issue with Mr. Heatmiser, by the way?
All right, so I took Heatmiser in the first round last year of a villain draft as like the iconic Christmas villain because huge arguments from that. And I still but I thought if Heatmiser makes its way on the graphic this week, I thought for sure that would give the audience an opportunity to fucking stiff me again, and I don't want that. So I played conservative today. I don't give a fuck if that bothers some people. Heatmiser's on my honorable mentions, but I'm not putting this list out there with the risk that people come back and say fuck Heatmiser. He sucked last year. He sucks this year. I'm not taking that risk.
I'm Mr. Heatmiser.
Yeah, I know it's a great song.
Banger.
I love it. It was a first round grade for me last year.
It was sensitive topic here. It's Chicago HQ.
It's like losing in the Super Bowl and you come back next year and like I've changed from a 4-3 to a 3-4 base defense. I'm not doing it.
New coordinator and everything.
Anybody else?
I had some fucking bangers for the last one. Again, Gizmo winning this is actually amazing. It was Mr. Norwal. The leg lamp was a little I didn't know how when I started this. I didn't know how hard it was going to be to really like if that would have been a reach though. But the Angel with Filthy Souls guy.
Yeah, I thought about him.
Yeah,
thought he could have been in. And then this would have been like just for the horny people. I was going to go Sue from Bad Santa.
Yep.
Yeah.
But then everyone thinks you're White Sox Dave's pick, so then I don't know if there's any bias towards that. So I stayed away from that. It basically was Mr. Norwal or Gizmo for me. Charlie Brown Street. Charlie Brown Street.
You could take inanimate objects because like the leg. Like that's another one for the old man where it's like where the wife breaks it. He's like, you used up all the glue on purpose. like now you have to. It's this big conspiracy to get rid of this leg lamp.
Next year, can we do Christmas movie props?
Of course.
Ooh, there's got to be 25. We got to be able to find 25 props.
Of course,
definitely. Yeah.
Our Christmas drafts have really burned through.
Well, it's hard to do the holidays. Yeah. It's like after a while.
Yeah.
Quick statistics here. We drafted 7 Home Alone characters, 4 from Die Hard, 3 from Christmas Vacation, 2 from Story, 2 from It's a Wonderful Life, 2 from Bad Santa, 2 from Jingle All the Way, and then 1 each from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer Claymation, 1 from Gremlins, and 1 from Elf. So 7 from Home Alone. I mean, that's over
powerful.
25% of the board.
It could have been more, but I think we all wanted to diversify.
1 from Elf is wild. That just shows how much feral calorie that shit.
Yeah,
exactly.
And it was, that was a good pick, though, Lannister.
Is there any other notable movies that we just completely... Santa Claus, obviously, like I said. But,
Santa Claus, I love. For me, the Ghost of Christmas Present from Scrooged is a phenomenal character.
Yep. Just
doesn't play that well. I feel like I've taken Scrooge before in these drafts and have gotten like really lukewarm feedback, but to me, that's one of the funniest.
Was that the cab driver?
No, that's the little fairy that smashes him in the head with a toaster repeatedly.
Okay.
Cab driver's good though.
Cab driver's fucking scary. Yeah. David Johansen.
If you look up, like, if you just Google Christmas movies, Trading Places makes it. But that to me, like, that's way less of a Christmas movie than even like the Die Hard argument is.
Yeah.
So, but like that has some. If you wanted to go that route, you could go that route.
Some streaming services have lumped Planes, Trains, and Automobiles into a Christmas movie. And it's clearly Thanksgiving. Clearly Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
One of the only it's like
I think it is the only one, right?
The Thanksgiving movie.
Oh yeah,
it's the Thanksgiving movie.
Yeah, isn't Stepmom a Thanksgiving movie?
I don't know if I know that movie.
I don't know if I would consider it the Thanksgiving movie, but like to me, if you think Thanksgiving in movies, it's only Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. That's it.
Julia Roberts, where'd she go?
You would think that there would be more Thanksgiving themed movies.
There's a lot. There was one we interviewed, I think Ike Barinholtz for, that came out recently, where it was like the whole thesis of it was like these people have to go to their family Thanksgiving and they're all like very liberal, but the family is very Republican. And they're just like, I don't know that.
Sounds terrible.
Like I just want more Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's
more
like I said, the set changes. Those are my favorites too, besides teen movies and horror.
We'll do a movie quest draft sometime, like movies that are based on quests and journeys.
That's one of my favorite genres. Like,
and then you could just say like science fiction one, whatever.
Like Pee-wee's Big Event. Like I just love that shit. I also had Big Show from Jingle All the Way. You know, that was when he's in the fake toy shop. I'm gonna deck your halls, bub.
That was a good impression. That actually sounded a lot like Big Show.
Concierge Home Alone 2, Tim Curry.
Yeah.
Funny guy.
All right.
Rocket Man. Sorry, Rocket Man. Would you have vetoed that?
Rocket Man, like the Elton John movie?
No. Jingle All the Way, Rocket Man.
Oh, Turbo Man.
Turbo
Man.
Man.
Oh,
Okay,
oh,
yeah,
wow.
fuck that
Turbo
up.
Man,
Sorry.
yeah.
Turbo Man?
Yeah, was he?
Hey, he's an action figure.
I shouldn't have fucked that up. I should have said Turbo Man.
He, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger technically plays Turbo Man at some point, so you could pick his rendition of Turbo Man, but that's just
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
It's tough. All right,
But a great
boys.
movie prop, though.
Oh, yeah. Great prop. Thanks for filling in. Thanks for hopping on, Clem, Kenjac. Great as always.
Attaboy, boys. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Yep. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks, everybody, for listening this year. It was a fun year of draft, so we'll be off and running next year.
How many have we done now? Do you have
We're
the
close to
official count?
100. I think on 100, we're going to do a draft of the best drafts. So
Maybe we should do a draft of the best guess.
that would be interesting, too.
Oh.
That would be interesting, too.
Clem would be on my first round.
I'd take you, Kenjac.
Nice to say.
Respect for the working man.
Yeah, I would take Kenjac, but I've been fucked on the graphics so many times by him. that I
Everyone's
just-
been fucked on the graphic league. I gave someone the White Sox Dave bow and arrow Nerf.
Yeah, it was funny.
Whoever picked Nerf bow and arrow. I gave
KFC.
it to him.
KFC, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
thank
yeah.
you guys for putting out such a great podcast. I'll be
Yes.
the voice of the listeners. You guys crush it. We love you guys, and it's nice to feel like you in the mix with you guys every single week with the chaos that ensues on this show. I love it.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Clem, for always hopping on that. Kenjac, thanks for doing the graphic, obviously, man. We really
Of
appreciate
course.
it.
My pleasure.
And the videos. So, yeah, thanks, everybody, for listening. Sincerely. We'll do a best of. We'll pick a good one for you next week if you're looking for something. You got to head to work or something like that. So, that's it for today. That's it for this year for drafts. We'll see you guys next year.